Hello, Doctor. Welcome to the end of your existence.
A dozen of the world's leading seismologists have gone missing. 15 of the world's most valuable paintings have disappeared.
What's a landing? 9.9!
Can I let you in on a little secret?
A target incursion on Earth is imminent.
Has it never occurred to you that it could be a trap?
This is the day you are erased forever. Bit of a conversation stopper.
It's incredibly dangerous.
It was a really bad idea.
Anything could happen.
I don't want it to end.
Yes!
Hello and welcome to Who Watches Who, a Doctor Who podcast with me, Matthew, and as always, I am joined with...
Hi, I'm Scott.
Hello, Scott, and it has finally freaking happened. All of our answers have been answered, except for the ones that weren't answered, but all the ones we actually genuinely cared about in the end of the day were answered. Jodie ended with a fucking bang and not a whimper. Probably her best season finale she's ever had, because usually they're trash.
The Series 11 final was underwhelming.
It's so underwhelming. It's so small scale, yeah.
The Series 12 final was kind of overwhelming, I would say. And then the Series 13 final, which is technically the end of Flux, was kind of
It was shit.
It was a mess.
The end of Flux is shit, but this is what will be the end of season 13, you know, on BBC iPlayer.
This was a double length episode, so I guess it technically was 10 episodes this season.
Yeah, they got there in the end. It took them fucking long enough. But there is so much going on in this episode. It is ridiculous. It's big. It's fan servicey as fuck. I don't know how much of a scene by scene breakdown we're going to be doing as our usual thing, because this is, a fresh episode. I kind of just want to chat about everything all at once because it covers so much of Doctor Who. But to celebrate Jodie being gone and New Horizons on the way and Russell T Davies coming in, I think it's time to get some rum in my tongue.
Oh God, no.
Yeah.
And this isn't the first time we tried to record this podcast either. You've had that rum sitting there for days now.
I've been drinking it for days. I think you'll find at the start of the week it was full.
and not out of celebration either.
Yep. It's really nice rum, actually. I'm drinking Brewdog's 500 Cuts handmade spiced rum. It is very good. Their last
rum, it's also
rum
very blurry.
Yeah, their last rum that they made was dog shit. It's one of the worst rums I've ever had in my life. But this rum is significantly better. And I know people are listening, being like, "Wait, I thought they were going to be talking about Doctor Who. Why are they talking about rum?" And that is the type of podcast this week's going to be. I think it's going to be off the rails. So, Scott, while I pour my drink, why don't you take us through a bit? What did you think? How did this episode start for you?
Yeah. Let's talk about the very start of the episode, where I was a bit concerned because we had the Cyber Masters returning for no reason. It never gets explained why we're coming back, the Master coming back.
They have one explanation.
They'll explain later.
No, the Master says that he survived because of his exceptional eye for the detail or something. It's a great reason. It's just the Master survives. It's what he does, isn't it?
The Master always survives, and even Ace says at one point in the episode where she's like, "Oh, I thought I'd seen the last of you when he turned into cat person."
Yeah.
And then we never see the last of the Master. That's all we have to know about him. But I was concerned because the people on this bullet train are looking after what appears to be a little girl. And I was concerned because, the timeless child.
I had the exact same thought. As soon as that kid showed up, I went, "Oh, fuck, that's the Doctor." I thought the Master was going to be doing this convoluted plan of capturing the Doctor as a child from a life they don't remember and like killing them or something so that the Doctor's entire existence would be erased. But thank fuck it turned out that kid was, in all extensive purposes, completely fucking useless.
Yeah,
Does not play into the plot.
Yeah, it feels like an intentional misdirect from Chibnall, really. It has nothing to do with the plot except it's part of the Master's plan to
help him regenerate. Yeah.
It's never a complicated plan. It's never a convoluted plan. It makes no sense.
This one is up there with convolutedness because he is working in 2 different times at the same time. And there's like another planet that he was working on with the Cybermen, and he's got the Daleks involved. Like, there's so much going on with the Master's plan. I don't think it actually makes sense.
Yeah. So which Master is which? Is a clean-shaven Master from the past, and then he turns into a Rasputin?
Clean-shaven Master in modern day. Once he gets broken out by a Shad, I think he then teleports back to his TARDIS and goes back in time, and then turns into Rasputin because when he's Rasputin, he knows the Doctor and he's talked to her and everything already. So I think that Rasputin must be the later version of the Master.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it makes no sense. It's because it's presented to us out of order. It's like fucking confusing.
This episode makes no sense in general, but it's a fun kind of it makes no sense. It's not like the end of Flux where we were expecting answers. This episode like starts off straight away letting us know that nothing is important in the episode really. It's just it's just fun. It's just fun, silly nonsense.
It is very fun, silly nonsense. And I would like to give myself about 15,000 great Doctor Who writing points because I called it. The fucking train scene is how the episode opens, and it doesn't relate to anything else going on other than they were stealing a kid from a train, I guess. A guy on that train is one of the characters from Broadchurch because Chibnall just wants to work with everybody he's worked with before, like Russell T Davies. And can we talk about Dan? Because I feel like we're talking about the start of the episode. Dan is really only in it for the start of the episode.
He is, yes.
We noticed this in the trailer that Dan wasn't in any of the other clips, and we were like, oh fuck, they're gonna kill Dan. They don't, thankfully. Yeah. Dan just kind of nopes out. He's just like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like
It feels like a lot of baiting to begin with because, there's a ladder, but there's a huge jump to get down from the ladder to the train. You think he's going to die there. And then
he gets shot in the face. He gets shot in the fucking face. And he's like, I'm still alive.
And he fucking begins floating away as well. And the Doctor has to grab onto him. There's like so many opportunities for Dan to die in this opening scene alone. But he's completely fine. He just wants to go home. He's just had enough. And Jodie, in classic Jodie Doctor move, is a total dick about it. She's like, okay, bye. And then doesn't like say goodbye or anything or hug him. Just closes the door. Yeah, she just sulks in the TARDIS, really.
Yeah, it's Yaz that says goodbye and like gives him a hug and everything.
To be fair, Dan is more of a companion to Yaz than he is to Jodie Whittaker because he keeps getting separated from Jodie in every episode. Like, and he spent 3 years with Yaz?
Yeah, they shared a deep bond through Flux, even though we didn't get to see it. It all happened off screen.
Big Finish spin-off.
Yeah, definitely. But Dan says goodbye, and I honestly, him saying goodbye so early on really made me go, oh, what the fuck is going to happen in this episode?
Yeah.
Because this is, it's 90 minutes. Actually, I think it's 89:40 or something like that. But it's, 90 minutes. And within like the first 10, 15 minutes, Dan saying goodbye, it's like right after the intro credits. Dan's like, bye-bye, I'm done, goodbye.
Yeah, that's one thing to jump on to. I think this might be the longest Doctor Who episode ever made.
But, right, I think it's one of the fucking best paced episodes.
Oh,
I've seen this episode twice, and not once do I feel its runtime. It zips by. It's such a fast pace.
Part of that is because there's a lot jammed into this. There's so much fan service. There's so much plot threads. There's so much, but it's never boring. It feels like the Sea Devils was fast paced, but it loses your attention. I just didn't absorb anything in that episode.
Absolutely zoned out. Yeah.
But here it feels I can't explain it because they're both fast paced, except this one just grabs my attention.
This
way
one's
more.
written better. That's it. This one has got a story that's engaging and characters showing up you care about, and it's shot nicely and it doesn't look like shit. The Sea Devils episode genuinely looks fucking horrendous. It's ugly to look at, you know. Except for that one shot. I still think it's got one of the, if not the best looking shot in all of Doctor Who, with the TARDIS underwater. Fucking stunning. Rest of it looks like shit. I'll just take that one scene, please.
That's probably the result of them having an entire year to just work on the visual effects of this episode, because they shot this last October. This is a year in the making, and it looks spectacular. Even scenes that don't have the best special effects are still great color grading or color palette, There's a lot of scenes that look just phenomenal.
I actually think the scene that looks the least good is this opening train scene that we start on. I think that to me was the most like iffy green screen stuff going on. I think it's still cool spectacle, and you got like this huge like spiral around the train and everything like that. But to me, that was the most like this is on a set feeling than any other part of it. And there's one effect that, holy fuck, it is real bad, but it's like so like not important to the scene that you can just ignore it. But
the scene that looks the worst to me in terms of visual effects is the scene where Ace and Tegan are on the roof of the unit headquarters.
That one is bad.
And green screen just doesn't match. It doesn't look great at all. It looks really weird and out of place. But it's like, it feels like it's like the most basic scene to shoot as well. It's very strange how that happened to be the worst.
See, the worst effect for me is not like a green screen or anything like that. You know, it is with Tegan and Ace again, but you know when the Master reveals that the little toy Cyberman is actually like a Russian doll and can expand? There's a shot where it's looking at Tegan and Ace, and in the background is the Cyberman, but it's clearly just a 2D flat image of the Cyberman blurred in the background, made to look small, and it looks fucking hilarious. Like it's so funny. It is an ugly shot, but I don't think there was ever anything that took me out. Even in Flux, like, you know, Flux was made through the pandemic, yada yada yada. There are effects in Flux that legit made me like shout at the TV. They are like that blue particle effect, the fucking Daleks, like, oh my god.
The Daleks was the most out of place moment for me. It's a moment I was like, it doesn't look great. But you know, it's shot through the pandemic, the early stages of the pandemic as well. So you gotta give them some. Give them
a little bit of leeway. Yeah.
Going back to Dan for a moment, I completely forgot his house was fucking missing. He's just gonna live the rest of his life homeless now. The Doctor doesn't do anything to fix his housing situation or anything like that.
She doesn't like even give him back his house to be like, oh, I can make it bigger for you. She just shuts the door in his face, and he's like, I guess I'm living with my parents now. All right.
His house was shrunk, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was shrunk.
Style.
There was Carvanista left a laptop in his house that was like a timed bomb to catch the Doctor on that, and then it like shrunk the entire house.
And you know, the Doctor is kind of like a master of making things bigger, you know? Like she knows about technology and all that shit, but she does nothing to help.
She could literally just put the house there, sonic it, and then make it go bigger, and I'd be like, yeah, that tracks, that makes sense. Don't need to worry about it, you know?
Or you know, buy Dan a lottery ticket like the Doctor did for
that one guy.
Donna.
Donna,
yes. Just give him my new house, my dude. Like, he's gonna be homeless. Did we ever address it in this episode? I don't think so.
No, literally, Dan's like, I guess I'll just kip on my mum and dad's couch. Like,
and also, he has no job at the moment, does he?
Yeah.
He's been away for so long.
Yeah. Oh God, poor Dan. He's gonna come back. Evil Dan's gonna come back as a villain. But we get a lot of Yaz in this episode now, that it's just the Doctor and Yaz, and I think this is the most stuff Yaz has ever had to do, and she's not awful. Yeah. She's like flying the TARDIS. She's like, you know, she's got agency. She's trying to solve the problem when the thing happens to the Doctor. She's like the hero of this story. She even gets the hero moment carrying the Doctor back to the TARDIS, you know, which is fucking long overdue. Because like Yaz is this blank slate of a character who's just in scenes. She's just in the background. Like quite often there'll be a scene with the Doctor and Yaz, and the Doctor's talking and Yaz doesn't say anything. You know, I was really happy to see her do something.
Yeah, it's shocking here. She's just like, she feels like a proper character rather than an exposition person, you know? She feels like a proper character for once. And how many episodes has it been? It's like 31 or something.
Oh my god.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, and what's her character? She was a police officer. She tried to kill herself.
Yeah.
She's got a dad. She's got family, I guess. Yeah, she's got a whole family that live at home, and her aunt,
I did like her family for a bit. Yeah, her family was decent, comic relief, but
I wish I felt emotion at Yaz's goodbye at the end of this episode, but I just didn't. But we'll get there when we get there. What happens next in the episode, Scott?
We basically open up on Rasputin basically being called to the palace, and that's where that scene ends up, and we cut immediately to Ace, fucking Ace,
yes,
in the museum
in the 50th anniversary shot, staring at the paintings. So we might as well talk about Ace and Tegan coming back, and actually I want to talk about an overarching thing as well that I really, really liked about this episode. So, you know, Ace, Tegan coming back. We've covered them before. These are companions I was familiar with. So I really enjoyed them coming back and whatnot. But what I really, really liked about this episode is it felt like a beautiful, like, love letter to classic Who.
Yeah.
You know, it like modern Who, it like basically just ignored a lot of modern Who stuff because every companion that came back was like a classic Who companion, except Graham. You know, it was, you know, we got that huge bit at the end with it. We got all the old Doctors back. It was classic Who extravaganza, and it was so much fucking fun to watch. It felt like a real love letter to old school Doctor Who.
Yeah, this is the most links to classic Who since, you know, School Reunion, and that was fucking 16 years ago, believe it or not.
Oh my god.
16 years ago.
Jesus Christ. That's awful.
But this, you know, the 50th anniversary, the most disappointing thing about the 50th for me was, it was mainly about the fucking, you know, it was about the last
New Who.
7 years.
It was New Who, yeah.
Apart from that Tom Baker cameo at the very end, even before he's
not
playing
and
the fourth Doctor.
the big Photoshop scene when Matt Smith walks out with all the 2D Doctors.
Yeah.
But yeah. This, you know, 50th, it feels like modern Who love letter, centenary, classic Who love letter. Maybe the 60th will be a combination, but I think the 60th is going to be setting the new Who, establishing this new universe, because it almost feels like the show's getting rebooted again. But we'll get there.
I would definitely say that Russell D. Davis watched this episode and I was like, okay, I don't need to write anything for classic Who because it's all right here.
Yeah, everything.
I just want to focus on the future of my new era. You know, my partnership with Disney. Fucking Disney. We'll cover that next week in our news podcast. What the fuck is going on there?
Ridiculous. Insane. Honestly insane. Jesus fuck. Yeah.
But yeah, it was this scene I was completely worried about because the exposition between Tegan and Ace over the phone doesn't sound natural to me. It feels very forced.
It does, you know, where they're talking about, you know, oh, I've not seen the Doctor in so long.
Yeah.
I've not seen the Doctor. I've got like a husband over here and a son over here, and what the fuck. Yes. To me, see, I have this issue, right? I've been binging all of Chibnall's Doctor Who these past few weeks so that I would be fully refreshed for watching the Centenary. Which, in hindsight, is a really good idea, because there was a lot of stuff I forgot, there was a lot of bad stuff I forgot, there was a lot of good stuff I forgot. I actually came out of it really appreciating Jodie's series a lot more this second time round. But I don't know if I'm just used to Chibnall's bad dialogue, because it did not stand out to me. I did not notice the heavy exposition, because I was so used to, you know, Flux exposition, the fucking season fucking 12 exposition, just the terrible dialogue, you know. This, I think, isn't his best dialogue he's written, but it is far from his worst.
Oh yeah, definitely far from his worst, but it just sticks out to me like a sore thumb. It's just like, yeah, this is not how two characters would interact with each other. It doesn't feel. It just feels like it's more like for the trailer, which we saw in the trailer. It worked in the trailer. It doesn't work here as much. Well, that's fair enough. It's hard to write exposition for it because this is the first time a lot of viewers will see Ace and Tegan.
Yeah, yeah.
It has been 40 years almost for Tegan. It's been an insanely long time.
Yeah, I know for a fact I had to explain who Ace was and who Tegan was to the people I was watching the show with, because they were like, who the fuck are these guys? Are these like classic Who companions? And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, right, okay. So Ace is really cool and does a lot of stuff and blows things up, and Tegan got knocked out by a Dalek once.
That's funny because you don't know much about these companions in the first place either,
nope,
do you?
I know only what I've seen. I only know what I've seen. Which was enough to make me be able to explain what was going on, at least.
And then also Tegan immediately points out, oh yeah, I got this toy Russian doll from the doctor and left with a note. How like look at it, dude. Does that look like a Russian doll? I think
what she was meaning is like it was like a Russian doll, and then at the center of it was the Cyberman. But we never see the Russian doll it was in. I think a cool scene would have been having Tegan open up the package and we see the Russian doll and she's like barreling down, and then we see the Cyberman. She's like, what the fuck? Why would the doctor send this? That's so inconsiderate, like...
And another thing about Tegan in this episode is, if you remember, we saw the episode where she originally left. I think it was called something of the Daleks. There's too many of the Daleks.
Yeah, it was the one where she was just like, I'm out, bye, doctor, right at the end of the episode,
Whereas here, in this entire episode, she's like, oh, you never called me. You never sent me a text or
yeah,
anything.
she feels like the doctor abandoned her when she chose to leave. To be fair, right, Peter Davidson's doctor, when she was like, I'm gonna leave, he went, all right. Like,
and that's kind of what they address in this episode, the kind of like nonchalant nature of the Fifth Doctor of the classic series, where they mention Adric later on, and that's another situation where Adric dies and the Doctor's like, all right, I guess we can move on then, do something else. That's how the classic series worked.
Yeah, it was very much just fucking, let's just keep going. We've got 15 more episodes to shoot this fucking batch. We can't linger.
So anyway, after the Discord phone conversation with Tegan and Ace, the Doctor's in the TARDIS, going away, leaving Dan forever, and a Dalek hologram comes up.
Yes. Yeah, this Dalek, fuck me. So... I really liked the idea of this Dalek when it was first presented, I really liked its reasoning, where it's like, the Daleks were designed to protect the Khaled race. We're no longer identifying as Khaleds, we're identifying as Daleks. Our core mission has completely fucking gone out the window. What are we even doing? I really liked that. I liked the design of him. I thought the effects for the hologram looked ace.
Oh god, yeah.
I thought it was all awesome. And then it builds to fuck all, and that Dalek just gets killed. Like,
basically, it only amounts to, the Doctor's a prisoner now.
It's just a way of getting the Doctor arrested in a really fucking convoluted way.
And Chibnall could have easily explored the concept of a good Dalek, and like, there's a point in the dialogue where Jodie Whittaker's like, a good Dalek? There's no way, even though she's met good Daleks before. Fucking Rusty, whatever his name was.
Yeah, but, like, Jodie's Doctor, like, is just, like, so full of hatred, like, for specific species and of people. She loves genocide, so she hates all Daleks. She has to justify to herself, why does she kill all the Daleks? Because there is no such thing as a good Dalek. Otherwise, I have to think about all the lives I've taken.
That's another thing in the episode that's never addressed. What happened at the end of Flux?
Yeah, but where's the rest of the universe? Because I'm pretty sure most of it got eaten.
Never going to get explained unless Russell T Davies is like, I'm going to give a throwaway line.
He is absolutely not. He's not going to bother with it. Nobody's going to remember by this time next year that the universe got destroyed. I already forgot, and I watched Flux finale like a week ago.
Oh god, yeah. That Flux finale was something else.
It's so the last two episodes undo all the goodwill from the episodes beforehand. It's incredible, absolutely incredible. But yeah, the Dalek shows up and it's like, hey, I've got a cool plan, but oh, I can't tell you the whole plan just yet because Yaz is about to come in. I mean, Daleks have spotted me, ha ha ha, and leaves just as Yaz is coming in through the thing, which is, you know, some filmmaking coincidence going on. You know, it's a complete implausibility and pure coincidence, but it's there for structure. What you gonna do?
When I was watching this, I thought it was definitely part of the Master's Dalek plan, as he says later on, which is a great pun for the 60s serial, the 12-part serial from the 60s, Dalek's Master Plan, the Master's Dalek Plan. It's a great little pun, and it also completely breaks the fourth wall.
Incredible. There's so much little fucking nuggets in this episode. Yeah. It's a real fun time. You can tell that Chibnall likes Classic Who, can't you? You can tell which era he likes of Classic Who as well.
But yeah, the whole Dalek thing just feels like it feels like it's an interesting concept, but it just doesn't go anywhere in the episode. It really doesn't.
I think the Daleks really don't do anything of note in this episode. Like they're only in it because it's Daleks and it's Doctor Who. Like same with the Cybermen. The Cybermen don't do fuck all. They're only in it because it's Doctor Who. You got to have the Daleks. You got to have the Cybermen. You got to have the Master. There we go. All done. You know. But you could do this with just the Master, and it would still be, you know, maybe his Cyberman army, because that's how he escapes and stuff. But the Daleks, I feel, just add a level of convolutedness that really doesn't matter.
Yeah, what are they doing? They're just fucking around.
They're drilling a big hole in the volcanoes to cause an eruption.
And why are they causing an eruption?
To destroy all life on Earth, I think. Even though they could just get in their big spaceship and fire lasers everywhere, they decided the best solution was to just drill a big drill. How did they get the drill there? How did they build it? They don't have arms. How did they build anything?
Nothing about this episode makes any sense. But after this scene where the Dalek contacts the Doctor, we cut to the Master just hypnotizing people, which is...
I loved it. I fucking loved seeing the Master hypnotize people. It made me jump with joy. I was like, oh, fuck yeah! As soon as he's like, look into my eyes. I was like, yes!
We hardly ever get the Master hypnotizing people these days, and I love it. It's just a concept that kind of gets dropped because it's, you know, it's so easy to just write, you know, Master hypnotizes people and gets away with shit, but they never do that a lot. Like last time I think we've done it in a big part of the plot was in The Sound of Drums, you know. Yeah,
he was hypnotizing them with that rhythm. Which is a really cool concept of the hypnotism. It's not as cheesy as look into my eyes, they're magical, but there's something about looking into my magical eyes that I find so endlessly charming.
Also, Sacha Dhawan has beautiful eyes.
He does. Yeah, they're stunning. They're very fucking pop out his head, like, absolutely fucking pop out. Right, rum number 2. Keep talking. Here we go.
And then after that scene, we get on to the cyber planet thing. I'm not sure what the fuck we call it.
Yeah, it's just a metal planet made by Cyberman, isn't it? Because it's like the Death Star, because it was there to fucking give enough energy for the Master to use his big regeneration plan. This other planet has another TARDIS, and it's the Master's TARDIS that
it's the Master's TARDIS, and it says ha 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 on it, and the core of the TARDIS is lashed into the center of the metal planet structure, and the kid we saw earlier is a tethered energy.
The bad
source
effect. It's
to
a bad
the planet. It's a fucking insane plan, but yeah.
This is where the Doctor figures out, like, immediately that it's not a real kid, and instead it's this giant ball of energy that means nothing. It's called like a Quarunx or something.
Yeah, that's it exactly. Quarunx.
Yeah, fucking clunky. And it was like, it looked like a kid because it psychically determines to make it look like the thing that you want to protect the most in the world, which is a dumb as fuck reason. But heyo.
Yeah, you know, it could be like, what if Yaz saw a puppy and the Doctor saw a human girl, and they're like, no, this is a puppy.
Honestly, I'm surprised the Doctor didn't just see herself, because that's the thing she wants to save the most.
Yeah, this whole plan is just nonsensical. The first half hour of this episode feels like a bunch of stuff that feels nonsensical, but I'm still having fun with it.
It's still fun. It's fun to see the old faces back. Sacha Dhawan is fucking incredible in this episode. He is insane to watch. Like, there's moments coming up later in where he just steals every fucking scene he's in. It's,
oh god, yeah.
Like,
He is so good in this episode.
So good.
He is always one of the highlights whenever he appears, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm glad he's going to get a big Finish spin-off soon, and I hope we see him again in the show in the future. It'll be nice, real nice.
Yeah, he's really good.
You know, we need another multi-master special.
We do.
And then immediately after that scene, Kate contacts the Doctor and is like, "Hey, yo, come to Unit," which is apparently a thing again now.
Yeah, this is where I was confused. Unit is now it's got like a huge tower in London. It's staffed out its fucking ass. Like, it's just been refunded, I guess, because in Jodie's first season, or maybe her second season, we find out Unit has been dissolved.
Yeah, it was her first Dalek story.
Yeah, we find out Unit's no longer around, and it's fucking been, scattered to the winds. Fucking who gives a shit about them? Then in Flux, we find out the origin of Unit, that it was invented by Snake Man for a reason. I honestly don't remember what his point in Flux was. And then it's just back now. Yeah. It's just back. I'm happy it's back because I like Unit being around. I think they're a cool Doctor Who piece of history, and they're a cool idea. I don't know why you'd ever decide to get rid of them.
And it's a totally different Unit to the one we've seen before in the Russell T Davies era. Even it's the whole Unit thing makes no consistent sense in the show. It's like Gallifrey. There's no consistency to what's going on. 1 minute it's destroyed, and it comes back, and it gets destroyed again, and it never gets mentioned after that. It's like, what the fuck is going on?
Because Unit in RTDs was like military. They were like army boys. Then in Moffat's, they were like spies, like MI5.
Yeah.
And now in Chibnall's, they still got the spy vibe, but it's more like, I don't know, like a tech building, it seems. Like, it's like this big fucking tower with the Unit symbol on the windows. Like,
one of my favorite lines at the start of this Unit whole thing is where the Doctor's like, "Do you have any idea what's going on in outer space in 1916 right now?" And Kate's reply is, strangely enough, no. Which is a really funny line. I just caught it the second time watching this.
Yeah, that's a fun quip. It's nice to see Kate Stewart back. It's nice that she's doing something better than chatting with a snake guy for no reason, but she still doesn't feel like she has any real reason to be in this episode. She doesn't do too much other than get tortured by the Cybermen for a while. But it's honestly, nice, fan service cameo,
Yeah, honestly, I would say Kate hasn't done much outside of her Zygon episode. Yeah. Like, every time Kate pops up, it's always like, oh yeah, I'm part of the plot, technically. I'm not really a character, I'm more of a plot beat,
Yeah, we don't know too much about Kate as a character, do we?
No.
Other than she's, the, like, granddaughter of Lethbridge Stewart?
The daughter, yeah.
His daughter, right, yeah. Daughter.
And, she's, like, one of the things that still remains from the Wilderness era. She is from a videotape series called Downtime from 1995. She was played by a different actress, and she interacted with the actual Brigadier. And then she got brought over to the actual show, which is kind of insane.
That is cool. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a whole scene where the Doctor meets Tegan and Ace again. We're really happy that the Doctor's a woman, but not happy because she looks so young.
I loved this scene, right? And I love the scene because I'm always a big fan of fucking companions finding out that they're not special.
Yeah.
It's like Tegan being there and Tegan being like pissy at the Doctor, and Ace being there and, being like pretty chummy and being like, this is fun. And then Yaz is there like, my world is exploding right now. What? And it's like, she's got this just little look at the Doctor where she's realizing just how old the fucking Doctor is, She's like, oh fuck, I really don't know you, do I? Like,
yeah. This was the moment of the episode where I started worrying, because if you go back to our school reunion episode, the biggest thing I disliked about the episode was where
the
Rose
companions were
Sarah
bickering.
Jane, yeah, I didn't quite like that. I liked how it ended up in that episode, where they were just comparing notes and laughing about themselves. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad this episode doesn't turn into, oh my god, I'm not special. I'm just nobody. The Doctor's going to abandon me, even though I'm going to abandon the Doctor by the end of this episode.
Yeah, Yaz moves past it pretty quick, but I just like that realization that fuck, I'm not as special as I thought I was. you know, and this does have an end date. This will end for me, and I'll end up like them, you know.
Yeah, I'm still not sold on her departure, but we'll get to that at the end of the episode.
We'll chat about that.
But yeah, the 5 women discover that a lot of paintings throughout history have been photoshopped with a master's face on it, which is a lot of fun.
This moment really, it made me laugh quite a lot. It was really silly, but the photoshopping, holy fuck, was it so bad? It was it was bad Photoshop.
It's 100% bad on purpose, though. Right?
Yeah, it was so funny. It was so funny. And then the master ends up interrupting a call, and he has a little sinister speech inviting the doctor to come over. And I love Sacha Dhawan. I could watch him act as the master all fucking day.
And the doctor's like, hey, why don't you guys stay here talking to Tegan and Ace? And she gives him electric shocks, which become important later on. And, you know, when we're meeting with Master, Yaz actually remembers she was a police officer because the unit team swarm in. And the doctor's like, hey, Yaz, use this gun, even if I don't like guns, which is the point in the episode, which is... You know,
I fucking love that bit, you know, where Jodie's like, you know, Yaz, grab that gun. And the entire time I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And then the master's got the line of, oh, but doesn't she hate guns? You know, isn't that against her? She must be scared. And, you know, and what's great is I can see it from both fucking sides, where the master's like, haha, I'm manipulating the doctor, hoo. And the doctor's there being like, I'm not going to play the master's games. I'm not going to behave the way he expects me to behave, you know, because he expects to get away with this without me fucking going after him with a gun. I'm going to go after him with a fucking gun and see what happens, you know, because she's trying to end it before anything bad happens. I really enjoyed it.
Also, Yaz remembers she was a cop because, you know, she's like, I have special training for this. Even though you pointed out that she wouldn't.
Yeah, she definitely does not, because she was on probation. I think like a second-year probation officer, so she's not even technically a fully fledged police officer yet. She's still like getting the shit shifts and training. But apparently she's got specialist training to use firearms as well.
I mean, I think at the beginning of the episode, she's like on a train. She realized somebody's been hurt, and she's like, get the first aid kit. And that's another thing where she remembers she was a cop. She has first aid training and all that, which is, again, too little, too late.
Well, I'm trying to think, like, how could you justify it? And maybe Yaz, like, you know, the police training thing, like, you don't even think about it. If like, it's fine. It makes enough sense. But, like, if you were to try and stretch it to make the most logical sense as possible, the only thing I could think is Yaz has a line of, like, oh, I got 5 stars at the shooting range on Blorpus 20, remember? You know? Like, you know, so just saying that she was trained to use guns is so much easier.
Yeah. The whole thing of the master speaking to Yaz and trying to manipulate her feels like it should have gone for a bit more. It feels like it's underdeveloped here, where like it feels like the original idea was that the master should be planting seeds of doubt in Yaz's mind, but that never really goes anywhere because the master's constantly like, to everyone basically in this episode, to every companion he encounters, he's like, oh yeah, the doctor's a bit shit, isn't she? She can't be trusted. Why is the Dalek communicating with the doctor?
Yeah, what's going on? You know, she's keeping secrets from you. What are you gonna do about that? Oh my. Yeah, it's just for that one scene he does that to Yaz, but.
And throughout that whole scene, I was like, why is the doctor letting the master continue to speak? Unless they're trying to get some information out of him, that he'll monologue long enough that he reveals his master plan.
Maybe.
But that doesn't really come into anything. He's just talking for the sake of talking, like just tie him up in the corner or something.
To be fair, right? Whenever Jodie meets this master, she's one to just let him talk. She never really does much of anything, which, right, plays into a bigger issue I do have with the structure of the first half of this episode. It is another Jodie finale where she gets captured by the master and he monologues at her while she does nothing. But at least this time there's consequences for that rather than her just winning, you know?
And then after this scene, we get not surprise return, but because we saw him in the trailer, but the return of Vindor, who does nothing in this episode.
I don't know why he's in this episode.
It makes no sense.
he shows up. He crashes on the planet. He sends like an emergency signal to the Doctor. He gets on the TARDIS, and then he just helps Yaz for a bit.
Yeah. It feels like he only had 1 or 2 days of shooting, and his role had to be reduced.
Maybe they just like they really liked the guy that plays him because he is a great actor, and they were like, we want him back. You know, he was so much fun to work with. We just kind of want to give him more work and have him back, and not have him do too much because he's the Han Solo character as well. You know, he shoots the Master or whatnot, which was a cool moment. But if you were to take him out, I don't think the plot really would change it, would it?
Yeah, last year he was in 6 episodes, and we really liked the actor, we really liked the character, and the character just did nothing for us.
Jacob something, isn't it?
Jacob Anderson.
Yes.
He's really good in this show, and I thought he was going to become like a third companion.
I'd love him as a companion. He'd be such an interesting one, but...
Yeah, well, he just kind of gets misused here. I don't know why he's here. It doesn't add to anything.
Yeah,
very strange. But yeah, after that, the unit guys capture the Master, and the Master taunts everyone in the room, basically saying that Kate's dad was an idiot. He mentions Tegan's aunt, which is surprising because the first time we met Tegan, he shrinks her aunt, which is obviously a death for her, which is never really mentioned after that in Classic Who's. It was a nice little mention. And also the fact that the Master remembers it well enough to taunt her with it. After, I don't know how many hundreds of years.
Probably thousands of years, after losing his mind, after turning into a cat, after turning into a snake, after fucking, like, turning into a skeleton guy, whatever John Sim was, like, he's got a great memory still.
Plus, he also remembers Ace's real name being Dorothy, which is like, wow, you remember a lot about these companions, dude. So basically, the Doctor's like, I'm going to go back to the TARDIS, and the companions get a bit upset by the fact they can't visit the TARDIS. I bet you they still think the set is falling apart. Is the TARDIS still falling apart?
Yeah, it's still wobbly. It still looks like shit.
And yeah, we basically get Tegan and Ace left alone in unit. We're just, we basically just go up to a room and talk for a bit, I guess. I can't remember what we do.
The Tegan and Ace.
Their job is to watch over the Master. And the Master communicates to them through...
Yes. Because this is the scene with the bad effect. This is the scene with the Russian doll Cyberman, where the Master's put into the prison in the basement, and he's like, ooh, the basement. And then Tegan and Ace are sitting there chatting, and the Cyberman comes out, and he's like, oh, by the way, it's a Russian doll Cyberman. Opens up with the fucking awful looking effect, and a bunch of Cybermen come out. Though not Time Lord Cybermen, they're like Time Masters, Cyber Masters, just regular Cybermen with Ashad. He's back. Remember that character everybody was disappointed had a really bad ending? Guess what? He does fuck all in this one.
Oh god, yeah. He doesn't do anything. And we read an interview with the actor last month in their news podcast, and he was like, yeah, I don't really know what's going on in the plot. I just get given what scenes I have to do, and no such wonder he's hardly in this thing.
He's got like nothing to do. Yeah, he's got like nothing to do in this scene, it's really sad because he is such an interesting fucking villain.
Yeah.
But I think the issue with him as a villain is actually an issue that was like fucked with Classic Who for a bit. Sticking him with the Master overpowers him because the Master's way more interesting as a villain than he is. Whereas the one episode he's got, The Haunting of Villa Diodati, where he's the villain, he's fucking compelling as shit.
Yeah.
But the second the Master comes in, he overshadows him because he's a bigger threat,
Yeah, there's a bit of dwindling returns with him also, because every time he comes up, he's infinitely less interesting.
Yeah.
Like, his second appearance, he was still fine. The third appearance, he was like nothing. Here, he's just
a Cyberman that shouts.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, you can tell he's angry because he has a face.
Yeah. But they shoot at everybody and they break the Master out of prison, don't they?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and I really liked this is also, we find out that Ashad is a clone of the Lone Cyberman. He's not really the Lone Cyberman. He's just because the Master cloned him. Because obviously the Master killed the Lone Cyberman by turning him into a toy. And so this one is a clone. When the fuck did he clone him? And how? Do they have cloning facilities on Gallifrey?
To be honest, I must have missed that part because I missed the whole cloning thing.
It's a line. It's one line of dialogue. When the Master's getting broken out of prison, he goes, "Oh, I'm so glad I cloned you."
Okay, because I remember him saying a line where he's like, "Okay, what can be shrunk can be made big again."
Yep, that's what he says about the Russian doll box. But when he gets broken out of prison by Assad, he says, "I'm so glad I cloned you."
Yeah, nothing makes sense. Nothing about the Master's plan makes too much sense. You just have to kind of go, I guess that makes sense, and
just
nod
with the punches and roll along, and you'll have a fun time.
Yeah, but this is where Ace reveals that she secretly stashed her stuff in the unit floor, and she gets her big coat, and she gets her big baseball bat, which made me very happy.
And it made a sword noise. It goes shooing when she unsheathes it.
And Kate is like, yeah, very retro. I love it. She's digging it.
Yeah.
And they go jump. They run to the roof of the unit headquarters, and Ace is like, yeah, let's jump. Tegan's like, nah, I'm going to stay behind with Kate.
Yeah, and then a really bad effect happens with a very CGI metal door and some awkward blocking because Ace is like, "Oh, wait, Tegan," but there's like a second pause where she's like standing there. Then she goes, "No, wait," and then the fucking thing drops down, and the thing drops down, looks like shit. But it was just this awkward bit. I was like, "Oh, that was a bit rough." And then it's the scene on the roof where Ace has to fucking jump off, which is a cool scene, awkwardly shot. Like her jumping off the roof, it's kind of like this weird awkward step off, and that it didn't come off as well as I think it could have.
But Ace jumping off the roof of a unit, it is a lot of fun. We would have never seen that in the classic series, parachuting Ace. That is cool. You want to jump over to what the Doctor and Yaz are doing. They basically, Yaz gets upset because the Doctor never explains what she's doing, which was our favorite parts of the first episode of Flux. We were like, yeah, we really like the dynamic of Yaz being upset with the Doctor for not explaining it, because it kind of, at the time, it reminded me of Ace, kind of manipulating, the Doctor manipulating the situation, and, the companion being upset about that. But it never went anywhere in Flux.
It really didn't. And it doesn't really go anywhere in this episode either. There's even a line at the end with Bradley Walsh where they're all in the TARDIS and he goes, "Oh, so she's still not explaining anything then." And it's like, yeah, she hasn't changed from fucking season 11.
Yeah, this is another point that reminded me on Twitter. Everybody's like, essentially the entire plot of Series 12 and Series 13 never gets explained to Yaz. Yaz never finds out about the timeless child stuff. She never finds out about the Doctor's mum. The Doctor just completely forgot her mum died.
Yeah. Yaz really does not. She's the longest companion, the girlfriend of the Doctor, and probably knows the Doctor worse than Martha.
Yeah.
She probably knows the Doctor worse than the guy that got the fucking thing in his head.
Yeah, and it's just like, Yaz really knows nothing about the Doctor 3 years on. It's been 4 years since, A Woman Who Fell to Earth aired, which feels like insane. It doesn't make sense to me. 4 years, almost to the day.
Insane. My God.
So basically the Doctor gets the data from the Dalek, and turns out he was a good Dalek, but the other Daleks discover them because they're just out in the open.
Yeah, they're just hanging. By the way, they're in a volcano and somehow not boiling alive, but don't worry about that. And the Doctor and Yaz have split, and the Doctor runs into the Dalek. He gives some exposition, and they get surrounded by Daleks and murdered. And then Jodie just gets trapped inside the Dalek casing, which, all right, I guess, sure. It's just a way of transporting her. It's so fucking similar to in Flux when the Weeping Angels turn her into a Weeping Angel just to transport her somewhere else and then turn her away from a Weeping Angel again. It's just stick her in a Dalek to take her somewhere else to take her out the Dalek.
So my question is, what was the Master's plan in capturing the Doctor in the first place? Because this wasn't part of the plan for the Doctor to go to the rogue's Dalek. So what
Wasn't
was his
it?
original plan?
Wasn't it the plan? Because I'm pretty sure the Daleks, like, and this is where the convolutedness comes in. The Daleks have a line of dialogue where they say, "We allowed this dude to talk to you because we knew that you would come and help him. Like, he is a rebel, but we could have stopped him before, but we knew he would lure you here. So him luring you here was our way of capturing you and killing him so that we could take you to the master." Like, it's so many, like, specific steps of things that have to happen for it to make sense, but I guess it makes sense because those things happened.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of presumptions that the Doctor would be in this place and time. You know,
Yeah.
You'd have to presume that she would go onto the bullet train. You'd have to presume that she would find the planet. You'd presume that she goes along with the Dalek message. There's so much presumptions about this plan.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's a dumb fucking plan.
Yeah, it's an overcomplicated plan as well. You know, you could just capture the Doctor. How about that?
Yeah, that's insane. That's an insane idea, Scott.
and it takes about half an hour for the Doctor to be captured as well.
It does. It does take about half an hour, but it's a fast half an hour. It does fly by. We're talking about how silly it is and how convoluted it is, but like, I cannot emphasize enough how fucking entertaining it is. It is.
And talking about silly and entertaining, the scene after this with the Doctor, she's basically getting a big monologue from the Master, and he's like, I'm going to put on some music. I haven't done that since I was John Sim on, at the end of Series 3.
Yes.
Put on some music, and it's very fitting music.
It is. So they're in 1916. They are in St. Petersburg. The Master's pretending to be one Rasputin. His whole plan with the Doctor is that he's going to force regeneration in her, and he's going to transmit his own consciousness into the Doctor using this big machine that does that, I guess, that he stole from Gallifrey. I guess that was the thing they always had. Don't worry too much about that. But he's like, okay, it's time to dance. And he puts on, of course, what song, Scott?
Rah, rah, Rasputin.
Lover of the Russian Queen. It's fucking amazing. It is. He starts dancing to it. The lights go. The Cybermen and the Daleks staring at each other. Like, it is so good. It's like a moment where I'm like, I fucking love this guy as the Master so much.
And apparently the bit where the Dalek and the Cybermen were looking at each other wasn't in the script. It was just kind of improvised on the day, which it's very silly, and it kind of comes across as parody almost.
I love it. I loved it. It was so charming to me. It came across as charming.
I liked it a lot, but it's one of those things where, depending on the mood I'm in, sometimes I'm not in the mood for a silly Doctor Who episode. So if I watch this and I'm not in the mood for a silly Doctor Who episode, I would probably hate it. But at the moment, I'm in the mood for something silly. I'm in the mood for something lighthearted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's definitely those things. It's extremely lighthearted. It's extremely silly, and oh my god, it's so good. The only thing that I didn't like about the scene was it randomly cutting away to Vinder being like, "Oh, I've got this telephone that you've given me, and I'm going to press a button on it now. Okay, here we go."
Oh
and
yeah, by the way, I'm part of this plot for some reason. Yeah. I don't know why.
And I thought, with the way that it was cut, I thought that Vinder was going to interrupt the plan somehow with the telephone. But I don't. Was the telephone just a signal that he was on the planet? What the fuck did it do?
Yeah, I think it was just a signal he was on the planet for the TARDIS. TARDIS would be like, yeah, he's here.
Yeah, like, I fucking, it was such a weird place to put it. But the Master's plan works. And I did not fucking see this coming. Oh my god. So the regeneration happens. The big Death Star fires its laser into the Earth. And we see the regeneration energy from the Master. We see it from Jodie as their two beings become one. And there's a little Easter egg in here somewhere, isn't there, Scott?
I'm fairly confident that there's a point where she goes from Jodie to maybe Ncuti Gatwa for like 1 second. Yeah. And then she goes back to Jodie, kind of. And then she turns into the Master. I'm pretty confident that's Ncuti Gatwa. Because I remember kind of pausing that moment. I was like, holy shit, is that Ncuti Gatwa? I immediately went to Twitter. And other people had the same idea as me. It was Ncuti Gatwa. But he's not credited anywhere. There's nobody else talking about it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't know either.
But yeah, the Master does mention the fact that the Doctor has had forced regeneration in the past, and that's obviously the reason why Patrick Troughton regenerated. You know, the first time we saw the Time Lords, it was a forced regeneration, and he says maybe you've done it more than once, which is obviously a reference
Timeless
to
Child stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a nice little reference.
It was fun. And then we get Sacha Dhawan as the Doctor, which I guess is technically an incarnation of the Doctor. We'll call him the Master Doctor, probably. I fucking loved him so much in this role. He was fucking amazing. He had so much, like, excitement and energy to him. It's like he gets right up in Yaz's face, and the moment when the TARDIS appears and he's like, "Come on, Yaz, let's go on an adventure!" and fucking like just like fucking like cheering and clapping. Like, I want to see this guy as the Doctor way more. I want a Big Finish spin-off of Master Doctor, please. He's so great.
So when this happened, I was expecting it to be more of like a Freaky Friday situation where Jodie Whittaker would be playing the Master.
That would be interesting. Yeah, that would be interesting. But she just kind of dies, I guess, and the Master's body is just like a corpse.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what happens there. It's very confusing. What, like, you could have just killed the Doctor, you know? Just shoot her. I guess
the only reason I could think that he would want to be in the Doctor's body is for unlimited regeneration. Because presumably, because he's not the Timeless Child, he only has 13 regenerations, whereas the Doctor, as the Timeless Child, has unlimited regenerations.
Yeah.
And being that way, he gets immortal life. But it's never said. It's never said why he wants to be the Doctor. He just does. Like,
well, his first act as the Doctor is to basically wear every fucking costume the Doctor has ever worn. And, you know, when we first heard that maybe some old outfits would be appearing in this special, I was like, oh no, please don't have Jodie randomly wearing a scarf for one scene for no reason.
Yes.
It would take out of the episode. But yeah, the idea of the Master basically becoming a parody of the Doctor is so funny to me.
It was so good. You know, he had the celery, he had David Tennant's tie, he had the fucking scarf, he was wearing Jodie's hoodie. Like, it was the perfect outfit. I also love the scene where he's in the TARDIS talking with Yaz, and he's like talking about like things they could do, and he's like, you know, let's save a planet, save a civilization, we could save a sick animal, like, let's go. Like, he's so fucking good. And he gets up in Yaz's face like, I am the Doctor, I am the Doctor. Oh my god, he's so I honestly loved him so much in this episode.
But, you know, the duo basically take the TARDIS to, I think it was the same cyber planet as before, or maybe it was like a moon or something, I can't remember now. But they basically take the TARDIS there, and the Master's outside of the TARDIS, and the Jodie Whittaker, Yaz. Don't know why I called her Jodie Whittaker. But Yaz takes the TARDIS immediately away from him. And
right, so this scene, right, I'm not sure where they were. I think the Master says that he fucked around and he caused these two planets to go to war with each other, which is why they're like nuking each other. They're at like a mushroom moon or something, looking at each other, and fucking Yaz pulls out her fucking signature move. You know, she's pulled this move on the Doctor a couple of times. The shove, you know, where were you? You left me for 6 months shove onto the Master and just pushes him away. And it works flawlessly. And the Master's just left alone and pulls out. What does he pull out? He pulls out Patrick Troughton's flute, and it's fucking great. It's so good.
But, you know, maybe he was there for like 20 years and he found a way off the planet for a bit. You know, Big Finish. Are you listening?
Yeah. He went on a few more adventures.
Yeah, but yeah, basically what happens to the Doctor is she basically gets trapped with her own subconsciousness.
Yeah.
And she meets a very old man on a chair, which took me a moment to recognize.
Really? I got him as soon as I saw his fucking hands like this. I was like, look who it is.
No, it took me like a second because I keep on forgetting that the first Doctor has been recast as David Bradley. Because I looked at the face and I was like, Who is that? Oh my god, it's the first Doctor, of course.
Yeah.
I forgot about him being recast.
I really like David Bradley in this role. I fucking love how he keeps the that fucking William Hartnell does all the time. It honestly, it made me cheer when he went, "Oh, you're a bit more like determined than the most of us."
Yeah, but when I first realized it was the first Doctor, I was like, "Oh, this is cool." I mean, he turns into Colin Baker, I believe.
Yes.
I mean, I'm like, "Oh, that's even cooler."
Yeah.
And then who else is it after that?
It is Peter Davidson after that.
Peter Davidson after that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes a while for
Paul McGann.
Paul McGann.
Paul McGann.
The minute Paul McGann popped up, you managed to text me. And I was like, holy shit, what the fuck? Because you weren't watching this episode live, and he just texted me at the moment Paul McGann appeared on screen.
Is that when you said that I'd be saying, "Oh boy," right now? When that moment happened, I legitimately jumped with joy. I went I was like, "Fuck yeah!" Like, he is, Paul McGann has quickly become one of my favorite Doctor ever, and seeing him back, oh my god, it made me cheer and clap. And I am not one that usually expresses vocally watching something. If I'm watching something, usually I'll just be in my head being like, "That's nice, that's good, I like that," but I'm never one that talks to the TV or says anything out loud. That fucking got me good. I wasn't expecting it, and it was so good.
I had the exact same reaction to Sylvester McCoy appearing, because he is my favorite surviving Doctor in this episode. I was like, holy shit, it's Sylvester McCoy. And also I might be able to meet Sylvester McCoy in March.
Yes,
he's coming to Aberdeen Comic-Con. Holy shit, I still need to book my tickets. Holy shit.
Nice.
But yeah, at this moment it was like, yeah, holy shit, we managed to get most of the surviving Doctors apart from Tom Baker, who said he couldn't do it.
And obviously we don't get any modern Doctors.
Yeah. Modern Doctor is saved for later,
Yeah, but we don't get Capaldi or Matt Smith or Eccleston or.
But
whatnot.
it's still lovely to see them all.
Yeah, it was. What I don't get, right? Why haven't they recast the second or third Doctor yet?
I know, it's very strange. I guess we don't want to do it quite yet in this episode, especially because having their first appearance being this episode would be very confusing for first time viewers. Who is this person?
What was what's his name's first appearance as Hartnell?
His first appearance as Hartnell was technically the biopic An Adventure in Space and Time.
Right.
Because he actually played William Hartnell in that episode. And then his first appearance as the first Doctor was in Twice Upon a Time, which was in 2017.
Yeah,
so
it was
a good 5 years ago.
Yeah. I was supposed to say it's fairly recently, but no, fuck me, it wasn't. Yeah, I think they could probably do it. I think there's bound to be some people that look like the second or third Doctor out there.
And the first Doctor was recast in 1983 with the 5 Doctors, so it's an old recast. But yeah, still we haven't recast the second and third Doctor. I'm not sure if I would like that. I'm not sure if I would like it.
I don't know if I would like it, but I think I would get used to it and then be okay with it. I don't know if I super like the first Doctor being recast, but I'm more than okay with it because I really like Bradley Walsh. No, not Bradley Walsh. That's fucking Graham. Yeah, Bradley Walsh is the first Doctor. I really like David Bradley. I knew it was Bradley. Yeah, David Bradley as the first Doctor. I think he does a really good performance, and he kind of looks like William Hartnell if you squint. So. Yeah.
But yeah, the second and third Doctor, I'm not sure if I'd like it, especially the third Doctor because he is my favorite Doctor. I think it works better with Big Finish. You could get an impressionist to come in and sound like them. I think that works better. Yeah. But basically, 8 and 7 have a conversation. 8 doesn't like to wear robes, and the 7th Doctor is like, "Oh, there's always one of them." Which is a nice little back and forth because obviously they've basically been the only 2 Doctors to star in the same episode together, but not appear alongside each other.
Yeah. Obviously, both being in the movie. It was charming. It's such a nice little exchange. I love Paul McGann. Sylvester McCoy's great. It's my favorite bit of the episode.
And obviously Colin Baker coming back is great as well. It is the year of Colin Baker.
He's so busy. He's so busy.
But yeah, they basically call themselves the Guardian of the Edge, and basically they stop Jodie Whittaker from jumping off a cliff, basically.
Yeah, because it's like, I get, like, when you regenerate, this version of the Doctor stays in your subconscious, and they have to jump off the cliff to go into the abyss, I suppose, and allow the next regeneration to live on, which is weird, thinking that, you know, Eccleston jumped off that cliff, Tennant jumped off that cliff, Matt Smith jumped off that cliff, Capaldi jumped off that cliff, you know, like, they've all just fucking gone like, wee, like, fucking jumped down. And I don't know why the Guardian would be there, and why it looks like the other Doctors. When you go into thinking about the logic behind it, that doesn't really make sense, but it's just for fun cameos to give some exposition, and honestly, I loved it. I thought it was some excellent fan service.
I was really happy, you know, this is potentially the last time we could see a lot of these actors as the Doctor on screen, because a lot of them are in
men.
Yeah, they are in their 80s and 70s. It's insane how old they are.
Yeah.
But I'm so happy to see them, you know, and we get more moments later on in the episode.
Oh, we get some great moments later on in the episode for sure.
And then after that scene, we basically cut to Yaz in the TARDIS, and she meets a hologram of the 13th Doctor, which I was like, yeah, that's Pardon of the Ways, isn't it? It reminds me of Pardon of the Ways, you know, where the 9th Doctor is talking to Rose.
Yeah. Actually, you're completely right. It's an established thing, although it's a bit more advanced.
Yeah. She does indicate that she's been working on this technology for a long time.
Yeah.
So I presume the idea in canon is the 9th Doctor's version was very basic,
rudimentary.
technology.
Yeah. But yeah, she's chatting with Yaz, giving some exposition about some stuff. And this is where we find out what the electric shocks were all about, and that was Jodie tagging them so that they would be able to see these holograms, which gives me fuck, how does it work? So she had to tag them and touch them so that the hologram would respond to them.
Yeah.
But anybody can see the fucking hologram because Vinder sees the hologram, and so do the Cybermen and stuff later on.
I presume it's just something that kind of comes out of the body. It's kind of like
it's like attached to like Yaz, I guess.
It's like a projector kind of. It's like a projector inside of her body, basically.
Yeah, okay, I get that. I guess that makes sense. I guess.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
But yeah, Vinder also sees the old incarnations as well, which is a fun little concept where Jodie kind of turns her head slightly and
it was
sees
some
Sylvester McCoy's
bad
face.
fucking Photoshop. But yeah, you see some classic Doctors. I saw on Facebook that apparently there's a few Morbius Doctors in that when she's turning her head. Yeah, the first Doctor's there, but apparently there's a couple other Doctors that they didn't recognize, or it could just be that the camera angle was so shit.
Yeah.
But somebody was speculating that it could have been a couple of the Morbius Doctors in there, which would have been a cool little fucking nod, you know, that they're not just random extras. They are like, they have a personality in the mind of the Doctor still.
What else happens?
I have no idea.
Ace ends up in the TARDIS at one point, and she fucking loves this TARDIS. And
It's when she's following with the parachute. That's where we're back
Yeah.
here. We're back at the parachute bit.
Yeah, and one of the Cybermen shoots the parachute, and she kind of goes AWOL, kind of. But then the TARDIS appears, doesn't it?
Yeah, and we get some fucking portal fucking physics going on, where the TARDIS is lying flat to pick her up, and she falls into it, but inside the TARDIS the gravity is like this, so then she just kind of goes boop.
It's always fun when we do that in Doctor Who, because I was watching a 5th Doctor episode like last month, and they did the same thing, and it's so much fun to watch that kind of physics happen.
It's just, it makes your brain go ah.
But yeah, it's really nice what Ace and Tegan do eventually get inside the TARDIS, because boy, it has changed for them. It looks completely different.
And it looks a lot shitter, probably, because I really don't like Jodie's TARDIS, but
it looks a lot better in the 5th Doctor TARDIS and the 7th Doctor TARDIS.
Yeah, but like, come on, they should all go see the fucking 8th Doctor's TARDIS. That's the one that wins. That's the best one.
God, could you imagine if that just came back in the 60th? They rebuilt the set from scratch.
I would honestly, like, fucking weep. I would weep, because it's gorgeous. It is gorgeous.
And yeah, speaking of old Doctors, a while ago we were Tegan first meets a hologram of the 5th Doctor, and they basically remember Adric, and the Fifth Doctor's like, I never forget any of you.
It was such a good performance from Peter Davidson as well, where they're just, it's just his Doctor getting a chance to say goodbye properly to his companion and wrap up his era, and it was fucking perfect. And oh my god, it was so good.
It's so lovely, and also we remember Adric, which is again something we never really did in the classic series. It's lovely that they got a mention for Adric there.
Mm-hmm.
I was worried when I watched this. I was like, they're not in the same room, are they? That's a shame. But Janet Fielden, who plays Tegan, went online and said, "Yeah, we filmed it together in the same day in the same room," which is
amazing.
Really lovely.
It's so good.
Because I'm so used to like Marvel movies where
everyone's
Samuel
on
L.
a
Jackson,
green screen.
yeah, like Samuel L. Jackson and Tom Holland are on separate sides of the world.
Yeah,
and basically zooming in for shit. But here they are just together again, and there's a moment where the hologram kind of becomes solid, and where the Fifth Doctor says, "Missed you too," which is really lovely and hits me in the feels.
Good. So good. I really, really hope. I know it's probably not going to happen. I would fucking kill for it behind the scenes on this, where you just get to see everybody palling about,
There is a behind the scenes video on the BBC. I haven't actually had time to watch it yet, but I've seen still frames from it where everybody at the end of the episode and the companions in the room with all the companions like Ian Chesterton and Mel, they're all in the same room together. They just take a picture, and also Jodie Whittaker is there. And they all take a picture together, which is really lovely.
That is lovely.
I'll have to send you that.
Yeah, it's lovely.
But yeah, Seven and Ace get another scene where, basically they apologize for the way their relationship ended up, which is, we've never seen them on screen kind of like break up a relationship or friendship. Mm-hmm. It's always been left to kind of like mystery.
Yeah. I really liked. I'm sure you probably have a lot more thoughts with the Sylvester and Ace scene than what I did. I really enjoyed it. From the one story I've covered with Sylvester and Ace, it was my only exposure to them. I really did like them as a pairing, and this was a fucking wonderful little scene for me to watch. But I'm sure the emotion you were feeling was much more for me.
Because they've always had like a father-daughter relationship. That's the Ace and Seven dynamic. That's why it's so special for me. And I've wrote down a lot of lines where the Seventh Doctor's like, "I was trying to teach you good habits. Obviously I failed." And Ace is like, "You didn't fail. I'm sorry we fell out. I didn't understand the burden you carried." I mean, the Seventh Doctor says a line which is so good. "All children leave home sooner or later. Joy is watching them fly." I mean, there's a moment where we're like, "Do you forgive me?" And the Seventh Doctor is like, "We're more than good. We're Ace."
Yeah, that bit was good. I like that bit.
It's so lovely. It's such a good scene, and it gets you closure to a pairing we haven't really seen closure from.
Yeah.
The last time we saw them, we were walking off in the sunset, basically.
Mm-hmm. Only issue I've got with this scene, right? Ace has got the Nitro 99, which I think it must be a callback to her era or whatever, the bombs or whatever. Jodie's hologram that pops in is so clearly done after the fact for exposition. Like, Sylvester McCoy's Doctor's like, "Oh, we're Ace." And it's like this heartwarming bit. Then Jodie shows up. "Now remember to get your Nitro 99 over there and blow the thing up." And then she goes away. And it's like, that was fucking jarring. Jesus.
I almost wish there was a moment where the 13th Doctor had a scene with these two companions. And she kind of has, like, characteristics of the Fifth Doctor and the Seventh Doctor.
Yeah, like that comes back when she's talking to them. Yeah.
Like maybe she rolls her R's at one point or something.
Yeah, that'd be cute.
But yeah, also the scene, the Ace is in a volcano and she bumps into none other than Graham, who's here for
reasons. The reason I think he's there is because if you remember the end of him and Ryan in season 12, they were like, "We're going to go do Big Finish," when they're talking about like all the things going wrong in the world. So I assume that Graham is just out there doing that stuff, but I'm pretty sure he just says that he has no idea what he's doing there. Like,
there's a point where the Doctor meets with him and he's like, "What are you doing here?" And Graham never responds. What is he doing here? How did he get here?
He does.
How does he know about the volcanoes?
Where did he get psychic paper from? Did the Doctor give it to them at the end of season 12? I don't remember that.
I don't remember.
Maybe she did. But he flirts heavy with Ace. He's well over Grace now, isn't he? He's like, you know, she's like, come on, I'm Ace, and he's like, oh yeah, fully, yeah, you are.
Yeah, there's a moment where Ace makes a reference to Remembrance of the Daleks for a baseball bat, and she's like, I beat up the Daleks in 1963, and Graham's like, how old are you? Yeah, but very little bit of banter is fun. I do like seeing Graham here, even though he does nothing to the story.
I like seeing Graham because he was the best Jodie companion.
Yeah.
It's nice that he did come back and he got not really much better of a send off, but it's just like I'm here, and he sets up, you know, the support group or whatever. So I like that. I did like
his
him
send
back.
off is he's best mates with Dan now.
Yeah, because they're the same man. They're the same guy.
But imagine a Big Finish spin-off with John Bishop and Bradley Walsh.
That would be amazing, and I would so struggle to understand what they're saying.
But yeah, cut back to Unit, and you know, Kate and Tegan are taking care of this whole Cyberman thing. It's not really that interesting.
It's mainly just the action scene. That's what they're doing. They're running away from lasers mostly.
A bit of Die Harding down the elevator shaft. Tegan starts falling.
Right. So down that elevator shaft, you know, Tegan starts falling when everybody starts shooting at her. When fucking Ashad, the lone Cyberman, fucking boom, headbutts the wall through, right? It's hilarious. Two, it did look kind of cool from like Tegan's perspective, where the Cyberman's head just suddenly appears. I would fucking kill to see it from the other perspective, where Ashad's like, there's somebody in the wall, turns around and just fucking headbutts the wall, because he goes head first. The other Cybermen do their arms, but he goes fucking head in, like.
But yeah, Tegan begins to fall, and for some reason she's just completely fine at the end of it. We don't know what happened to her.
Yeah, I would have assumed, like, I thought she was gonna grab on to something, but she's got springy knees. She's good at landing.
It feels like they didn't get coverage for something.
Yeah, or it had to get cut for time, you know, because remember, this episode is running at 89 minutes 40 seconds or something. Yeah. So maybe the scene was like a minute or 2 minutes too long, and they were like, 90 minutes is a fucking hard out. Like,
yeah, on Twitter somebody asks how Janet Fielden survives this jump, and Janet Fielden is like, she bounces, and everybody's like, yeah, that tracks, I guess that works.
Yeah, I get it's as good a reason as any.
And you know, there's a moment later on where, you know, the whole unit building explodes with everybody still inside of it. How many people work at Unit?
Was Kate Stewart in that building?
Kate Stewart gets out of the building.
She was out, yeah.
With Tegan, and she goes into the TARDIS. And
yeah. But everybody else, all the other members of Unit. Also, Unit's destroyed again.
Yeah. I presume this is like one base.
One of many, probably, yeah. They'll be back with Russell T Davis's era anyway. Fucking gives a shit.
We know they're coming back. I presume we're going to look more like we did in the Russell T Davis era.
The military boys, yeah.
Well.
Red cap, yeah, the red beret, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's one point where Kate starts being converted almost.
Her whole thing is the Cybermen are coming and they're killing everybody, but she's like blocked them off, and she's like, I'll let you through if you stop killing everybody and you can like take me and turn me into a Cyberman, which the Cybermen agree to for some reason. I don't get why they would ever fucking agree to it, but it's something for them to do, because they have nothing else to do at the end of this episode, do they?
Yeah, there is a lot of plot holes and just logic things in this episode that just don't add up. There's just so much things that doesn't make any sense. So yeah, the Master goes back to the same room he was in 1916, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the hologram of the fugitive doctor comes in, which is nice. I'm glad they got one final bit for her to do, even though
her send-off is great.
Yeah, she was horribly underused for this entire era of the show, because when she first gets introduced, she's like, oh yeah, this could be interesting. And then she...
Yeah. You know, I was watching this episode with friend of the show, Ewan, for my second rewatch, and this was his first exposure to Jodie as the Doctor.
Oh, God.
Because he's still trying to play catch-up on Doctor Who, so he's starting from the beginning, and he's going through it. I think he's at the end of season 2 right now.
Jesus Christ, hurry up!
Yeah,
You.
I know he's got to speed up, but he really wanted to watch this episode because he had the ending of it spoiled. And I was like, you need to watch it because there's so many fan servicey bits. They will be ruined for you in a week's time if you don't get on it now. Because like me, he's a really big fan of the Doctor Who movie. I mean, we watched it together. We both fell in love with Paul McGann, and he loved that bit as well. But when the Fugitive Doctor showed up, this was his first experience with the Fugitive Doctor. Right, and so I briefly explained who she was and the background behind it and stuff like that. And by the time the scene was over, he was like, yeah, I'm on board. She's fucking cool. Like, she's really good, which she is. And I can't wait for him to be, here you go, you're listening to this probably. Can't wait for you to be disappointed when you find out she does nothing.
Like I said of her first appearance, she really does nothing.
She shows up in Flux, remember, for no reason.
Yeah, because it was like a memory of the Doctor.
She was friends with the dog guy, but he couldn't tell that because he had poison in his brain. Like,
I forgot about that.
So dumb.
Oh god. Well, I wonder if the dog man is going to come back to Big Finish though.
Oh, cool.
The Fugitive Doctor is going to get a Big Finish spin-off, so I wonder if he's going to come back.
Carvanista's going to come back. That'd be fun.
But yeah, basically the hologram walks in and now all of a sudden Cybermen shoot at her. And she's like, yeah, you just shot at each other, Cybermen.
Yeah,
you
just killed yourself. And this is the bit for me where it got a bit, oh, okay, I guess we're just saving the day with bullshit. Yeah. Because the Cybermen, obviously, they're Cybermasters. And they start to regenerate. And the Doctor, or not the Doctor, sorry, Yaz has the Doctor's screwdriver and sonics their regeneration up into the machine and then uses that to reverse the regeneration of the Master so that Jodie comes back and that the Master goes back into his own body. My question, right, is if the Cybermen's regeneration energy is enough to power that fucking machine, why did the Master build a planet, recruit the Daleks in the future to send the Doctor back in time so that he would meet him when he's got an army of fucking Cybermasters he could just order to kill themselves to produce enough regeneration energy, which we know that they would fucking do because in the end of season 12, he tells one of the Cybermen to fucking shoot the other one, and he does it. Why does he build the fucking planet?
Maybe the machine is still getting energy from the planet, but the energy for the, or multiple sources of energy for the planet,
But the planet doesn't fire the laser. The planet fires a laser to give him the energy. It doesn't do that the second time round. Yaz just fucking zaps up that regeneration energy.
Yeah, this is kind of like a flux being eaten by the
yeah, it's just
passenger.
A fucking convenient ending.
Just a very convenient ending, which I'm fine with here because, it's contained in one episode. It doesn't feel like it's supposed to span for multiple weeks where we have to speculate what the hell's going on. This is like a one and done deal, and it works so much better here because, it's a one and done deal. We're going to forget about it afterwards.
Yes. I'm making a big deal about it. I don't give a shit. It's fun. It's fine. Like,
there's a moment where Yaz is like, "The last time I saw you were a tour guide," which made me think, did the Doctor ever explain?
Nope.
On screen?
Nope. Clearly did not. Clearly explained enough that Yaz would know that it's the Fugitive Doctor because it's only the Fugitive Doctor because Yaz is summoning the hologram to represent that image, so she knows that is the Doctor, but she's never seen her as the Doctor, so she must be basing it off something that the Doctor told Yaz briefly, like, oh yeah, that was me, by the way. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
No, there's no sense of a storyline going on with these companions. It's like the Doctor is so separated on her own with all these story arcs. The companions are left with nothing to do. We just kind of sit around and ask questions about who the Doctor really is. That's all we're really good for in the first few series at least. Yeah.
Also, right, question I've got in case I'm forgetting a scene. So Yaz turns the Doctor back into the Doctor and the Master back into the Master. What the fuck was the Doctor doing? Because, she was in her subconscious and she was talking with the previous incarnations and they were like, you got to pass through and, accept your fate or whatever the fuck. But then what does she just kind of stands at that cliff for a bit and then she's back? She doesn't do anything to try and fight against the Master taking over her body or... stop it or reverse it, and she just kind of hangs out at that cliff, doesn't she? And then Yaz saves the day.
I don't know, dude.
I don't think the Doctor did anything again. I think the Doctor got defeated and just accepted it, like she always does.
Yeah, she kind of just stands around talking to herself, which is the same thing she did when the Master had a prisoner in
the end of season 12.
Yeah, she just basically talks to herself in a void.
Yeah, she's just kind of there. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
Also, again, I keep watching the scene. I'm convinced that she turns into David Tennant at one point throughout the scene. I'm not sure.
I missed it both times, so I didn't see it if it did. But I wouldn't be surprised. It would be such a cool little fucking blink and you miss it cameo.
Because there's bits where the kind of like the red or the orange of the regeneration energy kind of goes in a different way, and it kind of reveals a new face, I think. I'm not sure. I can't tell. It's hard to tell.
It is hard to tell. There's a lot going on screen.
Like a face morphs a few times before she comes into Jodie Whittaker.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking it might be a David Tennant kind of cameo, but before he
yeah, it could be. Who knows? Who knows? As Tom Baker told us. But yeah, it's so Jodie's back as the Doctor, so it makes her the. I don't even want to go into the numbers. I went into the numbers with you over our Facebook chat, and it got complicated so fucking quickly. It became ridiculous.
You count all the fucking children we saw in, not the fucking children, but all the children we saw at the end of series 12 in the flashback, and we count all the Morbius Doctors and maybe the Valiard and maybe what happens in season 6B, which you don't even know about, really. No. And the Master Doctor and the War Doctor and David Tennant regenerating into himself twice. I guess, David Tennant might be the only actor to have 3 regeneration scenes throughout the entirety of Doctor Who. Jodie Whittaker technically has... No, Jodie has 3. Yeah. How many does David Tennant have, then? Because he regenerates... and then Eccleston into Tennant, Tennant into Tennant, Jodie into Tennant. So that's 3. That's 3. So I guess Jodie also has 3. 4? What are they? Capaldi into Tennant. Capaldi into Jodie Whittaker. Yeah. Jodie into Dewan. Yeah. Dewan into Jodie. Yeah. Jodie into the Tennant. Yeah, I guess she's got 4. That's 4. Yeah, Jesus. Jesus Christ. But Kate's in the TARDIS, and she's like, "How's it bigger on the inside?" Because she's never been in the TARDIS. Even I thought that was she should have. I know that to me felt so weird because I was like, surely she knows about the TARDIS, right? She's known the Doctor for across 3 incarnations. Like, I mean, it took the Brigadier quite a while to get into the TARDIS as well, but that's mainly because the TARDIS wasn't functioning. Yeah, like that was the whole point. That was the whole point for Pertwee, wasn't it? You know, we're about to see his reaction to the TARDIS anyway. Oh boy, in a few weeks. I'm excited. But what else happens at the end of this episode? Really, I don't know. I mean, basically, all the companions basically pilot the TARDIS like it's the end of a stolen Earth. Yeah, that was fun. That was fun. Where it's just everybody around. Although the only I wish Dan and Ryan were there. Because, it's only Graham and Yaz for Jodie's actual era that are piloting the TARDIS, so you don't really have that emotional connection. Whereas if it was the fam, if it was all the fam and the old incarnations, and I guess Kate Stewart's hanging around as well, it would feel like a culmination of all the things that Jodie's had, all the friends she's made. But instead, it's like the funny old guy and Yaz that never fucking leaves, Yeah, they do mention Ryan. He's off on he's in some country. It's one line of dialogue from fucking Bradley Walsh. Like it's very strange that the actor didn't want to appear for like one scene, just one day of shooting, just appear at the end. Yeah, that'd be nice, but he doesn't show up. I wonder if he really hates Doctor Who or something. I wouldn't be surprised, considering that like he had nothing to do in season 12. Basically, they wind up on, was it the Mushroom Planet again? Or was it... No, they end up back on the Cyber Planet, don't they? Yeah, okay, yeah, because the Master goes into his TARDIS, back as Rasputin, which was he... Yeah, because that's the latest version, because that's the body he goes back into. Yeah, okay. Basically he's like, I'm not done with you, Doctor, and he fucking rotates the Death Star thing.
So like the energy, the Quarunks, the Doctor tells to escape, but before it escapes, it needs to destroy this planet. So it's like, cool, I guess I'm a laser, and just starts fucking ripping the planet apart. And then the Masters comes back, and he's like, if I'm gonna die, so are you, Doctor. And he somehow makes the Quarunks move, and uses his big laser to just fucking zap the fuck out of Jodie. Which is not how I thought she was gonna die.
Yeah.
Just zapped. Just hit by a big laser. But, it's interesting. I love thinking about what causes each Doctor's regeneration to die. You know, like, Eccleston, he absorbed the heart of the TARDIS to save Rose.
Mm-hmm.
Tennant absorbed radiation to save Wilfred, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Matt Smith got old. His Doctor just died of old age. What killed Capaldi? Was it the Master? Cyberman?
No, I think it was a Cyberman. He got shot by a Cyberman.
Yeah, he gets shot, and Jodie gets shot as well. You know, which is, it's interesting, the parallels. You know, 2 people get killed absorbing stuff, 2 people get killed shot, and Matt Smith's there like, became an old man.
You know, when she gets hit by the laser, I was expecting, holy shit, she's gonna get cut in half or something, but she kind of just tumbles backwards.
She does like a flip at least, but she does kind of just like, it doesn't do any physical damage. It doesn't even like burn her clothes or like sear her skin. It's just like, ow, that hurt, I guess.
It's very strange. It's like she just touched something in the oven without an oven glove or something.
Yeah, but then, you know, the planet starts crumbling. Yaz gets her hero moment where she picks up the Doctor and walks her into the TARDIS, which to me feels unearned still. It should feel earned because we've had Yaz for 4 or 5 years. You know, and she should be a companion we know so well and a companion we love, and there should be a heartbreaking fucking moment, you know, that she's carrying the Doctor dying in her arms. And I looked at it and I went, the effects look cool, I guess. You know, but I didn't feel fucking anything. Yeah. The Master's left for dead, but he probably escaped or regenerated or did something. As the Doctor, as Yaz takes the Doctor back into the TARDIS, and then the next thing we see is just Yaz in the TARDIS with the Doctor, and she just says, "I dropped everybody off." Yeah. We never get to say goodbye to Ace or Tegan or Kate. They're just gone.
There's no scene where, you know, when David Tennant met Sarah Jane Smith and they had a big hug at the end. Mm-hmm. There's no hug at the end. It reminds me of when Captain Jack came in and he gets sent away with a bit of ADR.
Yeah, but like, wouldn't it be cool, you know, say like Jodie's starting to regenerate or something, but she's panicking a lot, and then you've got Ace and Tegan and Kate, and they're like, fucking, you've done this before, you know, we're here for you, we can see you through this, you know, you're going to be able to deal with whatever the fuck's coming, you know, you're the Doctor, you've helped our entire lives. But they just fuck off, they just vanish into the nether.
Yeah, so 2 points about that. One is, that would be a nice little moment where, in the classic series, when Peter Davison, for example, when he was regenerating into Colin Baker, he kind of had visions of his companions basically being there and being like, Doctor, it'll be okay, or something like that. Mm-hmm. It's like, it could be a nice little callback to have, you know, Tegan and Ace being there, but also it makes sense why you would want the Doctor to regenerate alone in this story, because
obviously, because she's who she turns into. Yeah.
But also this episode takes away a lot of canon, because, you know, the Ace met the 13th Doctor in a book. Ace met the 10th Doctor in an audio drama. It just came out like 2 months ago.
This is the thing.
Yeah.
It's like Star Wars, you know, it's canon in the books, it's canon in the dramas, until it gets contradicted by the films or the TV. They have precedent over the other canon, you know, so they can erase history.
There's also a moment where maybe they don't realize she's just regenerating. Maybe they realize, oh yeah, she just needs to sleep for a bit. I'm just going to go off. Because she's not really sure she needs to regenerate herself until she looks at her hand. Yeah. When she kind of gets up.
And what I love about regeneration in Doctor Who is it lasts as long as the Doctor seemingly wants it to last.
Yeah.
You know, like Eccleston's regeneration was like pretty fucking like, oh no, it's happening right now. I can't hold this back. Oh fuck. You know, Tennant's regeneration, he was like, I'm gonna go stalk everybody for like a good few years. It's fine. You know, Matt Smith regenerated twice because he had this huge one where he's like, I'm young again, and then he went, achoo, fuck, I'm old. Like
fucking Peter Capaldi put off his regeneration for an entire Christmas episode. He was like, nah, I'm just gonna wait till Christmas.
Yeah, you know, so fucking Jodie was like, oh, my hand's glowing, and it's still glowing when she's fucking eating ice cream with Jodie, with Yasmin on the fucking Yasmin Khan, on the fucking TARDIS.
You won't get this reference because you've never played the game, but it reminds me a lot of Kingdom Hearts, which
I have. Okay, have I not told you this yet, Scott? I've told Ewan. I've revealed it.
Oh, you told Ewan. Okay,
yeah,
I can't keep this straight.
So for other listeners, friend of the show Ewan, who we've talked about, who's emailed in a few times, is a big fan of the Kingdom Hearts games. Scott here is a fan of the Kingdom Hearts games, and I was like, fuck it, let's give them a try. I know they're dumb, but we'll have it to go. And I didn't tell Ewan because I was like, I'm just going to drop some fucking knowledge on him and blow his little mind, right? And so I played through Kingdom Hearts 1. It was torture. I kind of liked it, but there were parts I really fucking didn't. I played through the shitty card game and I fucking hated it, but there were parts I liked. I played through Kingdom Hearts 2 and I liked it mostly more than the other ones, quite a bit. And I'm currently playing through Birth by Sleep, and I'm really enjoying it. Actually, I think fucking Stockholm Syndrome's kicked in at this point. But I was sitting in Ewan's flat. I was hanging out with Ewan. I was hanging out with our mutual friend Sean, who knew I was playing through the Kingdom Hearts games. And Ewan was sitting in his flat, telling me the plot of Kingdom Hearts 1 and explaining how I really had to play it if I was going to play any of them, and I could not, like, Sean was sitting behind Ewan trying so hard not to laugh, and I was there and I was like, yeah, so I've got to play through Kingdom Hearts 1 and then like the card games and stuff. Yeah, okay, I've got it memorized. I like just stared him in the eye and he was like, wait, how do you know that? Like, obviously, got it memorized is a quote from one of the characters that comes in the sequels from the Kingdom Hearts games. It was priceless, but he knows I'm playing Kingdom Hearts now, so we can talk about Kingdom Hearts on the podcast. But yeah.
But yeah, this moment reminds me of 358 days over 2.
Yeah, the one with Roxas and Axel when they're eating fucking ice cream on the clock tower. Yeah. It was legit. We were watching it. Sean looks at me and went, sea salt ice cream? Like, unprompted. He fucking knew.
Yeah.
It was it's such a Kingdom Hearts moment. Like,
yeah, I'm glad I wasn't the only one who thought that. Because I've not seen that comparison anywhere else on the internet, which is interesting.
It is interesting because Sean made the same comparison. Ewan had the same thought as well when he saw it. He was like, "Fuck me, it's just Kingdom Hearts right now," you know.
But yeah, this is the moment where Yaz realizes that her contract is up, and she's like, "I can't be in the show anymore, Doctor. I have to go. I'm just gonna leave you at your most vulnerable moment because."
So we had a talk about this in my flat, right? Because it's weird, because there's been companions, not a lot, but the most recently obviously being Clara, who stayed through a regeneration and saw that change. And for Clara it was like, oh fuck, you're not sexy anymore, but then obviously turned into a really good relationship with Capaldi, and I miss Clara so much. But with fucking Yaz, we were chatting, right? And we were like, so imagine you are in a relationship with somebody, you're together with somebody, and then the next day you wake up in bed and they're a different person, but they remember everything. It's gonna fuck with you. It's gonna fuck with you big time. And a time traveler, fucking adventurer who you meet out of time, like fucking River Song, who has a much fucking deeper relationship with the Doctor than Yaz did. Yaz is a girlfriend. River Song's a fucking wife,
Technically, the Doctor and Yaz aren't even dating. Almost.
Yeah, they had like a fling. They're like
Yeah.
on and off, you know. Whereas there's just so much emotional rawness that I think the Doctor was like, it's so much better if you just leave. You know, that you were with me. You weren't with the other versions of me. It was this one. You know.
Yeah.
Would be the thing before it, but they don't explain any of that. Yaz is just like, I guess I have to go.
Well,
And
actually, I've got BBC iPlayer open, and it's a doctor who says, "I think I need to do the next bit alone."
The next bit alone.
I loved being me, but I need to do the next bit alone, which is very strange because when the Doctor's regenerating, usually he needs something to tether onto, you know,
Yeah.
to keep himself. Because the last time we saw the Doctor regenerate alone was the 8th Doctor, and he went on this whole thing where he had amnesia and he just went insane.
Did Capaldi not regenerate alone? He fell out his TARDIS and everything.
Oh shit, you're right.
Yeah.
But you know, Jodie Whittaker immediately met people. You know,
And she like immediately was like, I fucking love genocide. But like, if I'm the Jodie's Doctor, my last regeneration I did alone. I made new friends. The regeneration before that, I did it in front of somebody I cared so much about, Clara, and it fucked her for a season. It took her so long to accept me because I was so different, and it really hurt our relationship in the long run, you know? Whereas just avoid that hurt, do it alone. That I could see that being the logic behind it.
but you know, it's a beautifully shot scene with
Oh
sitting
my
on top
fuck.
of the TARDIS.
Oh my god, it's so
beautiful.
nice looking, yeah.
It reminds me of that scene where Rory's dad is having a cup of tea, just watching the. I think he's watching the Earth at the end of the dinosaurs in a spaceship.
Yes, just having some tea, looking down at the Earth, like, yeah.
Yeah. The Doctor takes Yaz back to Earth, where she immediately runs into. I thought it was going to be Ryan for a moment, but she bumps into Graham and Dan.
Two old white men, and they're fun together. I wish they had more scenes, but I'm glad they at least got one scene. I'd be really upset if they didn't get at least one scene together. But they get the one scene.
And we knew about this because this was like the first thing being leaked.
Yeah.
We saw these two on the set, and we were like, Graham's coming back, and he has a scene with John Bishop. And we were expecting obviously them to have a bigger part of the episode together. Like when a few months ago we heard a leak that the whole plot was about Graham basically having a surprise party with the Doctor, bringing together the old companions, which I guess kind of happens at the end of it, except for the Doctor part.
It's interesting, the leaks got like half of things right.
Yeah.
Like, the Doctor doesn't regenerate in her TARDIS, and I guess she regenerates on a cliffside, but she doesn't get thrown off the cliff or on the beach or anything like that, you know? And yeah, Dan and Graham share a scene, and yeah, there's a scene with the other companions, but it's not a party, it's more of an AA meeting. And yeah, Jodie wears all the costumes of the other Doctors, but not as like a gimmick. It's because the Master was wearing it and they're doing it all at once. It's like half-truths that the rumors got right.
Yeah, it reminds me of when Kylie Minogue got leaked. With Voyage of the Damned, we leaked it by mistake. Well, we didn't leak it by mistake, but we leaked it, and we were like, "Yeah, she's going to play a Cyberman." Never happened. She was playing Astrid.
Yes. In a very good episode that we've covered on the podcast. You should check it out. It's very, very good.
But yeah, do you want to talk about who is at this AA meeting?
Yeah, you'll know them better than I will. I recognized two of them, minus obviously Ace and Tegan and of the classic companions. I recognized I think two of them.
We have Jo Grant, who we recently saw in
recognized
Death of the
her
Doctor.
Yes,
we just did that episode of Sarah Jane Adventures like 2 months ago or whatever.
We did. You should check it out. Very fun episode.
We also have Mel, who was rumored to be in the 60th anniversary stuff.
Oh,
but she's here now, which I guess means that might be wrong.
Yeah, maybe they got the shot mixed up. They were like, "Oh, she's on set."
If you remember, there was a whole rumor going around that maybe David Tennant says Mel inside of a TARDIS at one point, but I don't know.
Who knows?
There's only 3 classic companions in the scene, right?
Yes. Yeah, because it's like, it seems like a very big circle, but there's obviously, Ace and Tegan are there as well.
Are they?
Yeah, they are. They're sitting next to Yaz.
I guess my eyes was focused on the other companions.
Yeah, no, Ace, Tegan, Yaz, Graham, Dan. Joe,
Kate as well.
Oh yeah, Kate's there. Yeah. There's also an empty chair, which people were like, maybe it's for Sarah Jane.
Yeah, and the biggest name is Ian, who we haven't seen since 1965, London.
Blew my fucking mind. Blew my mind seeing Ian. I was like, holy fuck, what the ever living shit is he? How is he alive? He looks good for his age as well.
Yeah, he was 96 at the time of recording this. He looks great for his age. He looks he looks really with it as well.
He looks really good for his age. He's got the great line where he's like, "Did you say she?" But like what I loved about his voice is he talked in classic BBC English broadcasting voice. Yeah, it was perfect. It was so good.
But yeah, I don't think that empty seats just represents Sarah Jane, because obviously if Elizabeth Sladen was alive, she would be front and center in this episode, no doubt about that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I think it represents all the classic companions who just kind of died. But like Barbara, and it kind of contradicts what we said in Sarah Jane Adventures, which the episode we just covered a few months ago, where Sarah Jane is like, yeah, Ian and Barbara don't seem to age. And I'll say here, Ian has aged. So
maybe whatever magic potion it was ran off, it ran out and it all caught up really quickly. But yeah, you're completely right. Sarah Jane Adventures is no longer canon. But what I am still fucking waiting for, you know what I'm gonna say? Where's Susan? Where the fuck? It makes sense she's not here.
Yeah.
Because obviously the Doctor abandons her in the future.
Yeah, in the year, I can't remember if it's 2150, because I know the sequel to the Peter Cushing movie is called 2150.
But it's the future anyway. So it would make sense that she's not here, because obviously it's not the right fucking timeline. We're running out of time to meet Susan again. I really want to meet Susan again, please.
The sad thing is, she has made a reappearance in Doctor Who before. She appeared in the Five Doctors, and that was after she got abandoned by the Doctor. But we never reflect on that moment. She's just kind of there.
I just want one scene. Just one scene. Russell the Davis, if you're listening.
Yeah,
I know you are. I know you're listening. You're our number one fan, right? If you're listening, put Susan in. Where's Susan? Yeah. What's Susan up to?
If she doesn't appear in any of the 4 specials, because there apparently is 4 specials, there's the 3 anniversary specials plus a festive episode, which might mean New Year's or Christmas. I don't know, starring Ncuti Gatwa. That's what the rumors are saying. We'll talk about more about next week.
Yeah.
But yeah, if she's not in the 60th or anything next year, but as her last opportunity, I think. Sadly.
Yeah, we're really running out of time, and I would really, it feels like such an open goal. I don't know why they haven't done it yet.
Yeah, but yeah, after this AA meeting, which going back to the AA meeting, it reminds me of a storyline in Spider-Man where basically the girlfriends of the superheroes kind of go to these AA meetings, just talk about being the girlfriends of superheroes. You have to worry about their significant others, going into danger every single day. It reminds me a lot of this. But yeah, let's talk about that regeneration scene, because it's the moment we've all been waiting for.
Yes. So Jodie stands outside her TARDIS. She's got a great fucking last line where she's like, Doctor whoever's, next, tag, you're it. Great line to go out on.
Yeah, it's perfect because, it welcomes a new era. It's like when David Tennant regenerated and he was like, I don't want to go. That was a bad move, because that means a lot of people are not wanting David Tennant to go, and they won't give a new Doctor a chance.
They're not. Yeah.
Here, there's more optimism about the rebirth of Doctor Who.
Which let's think about Doctor's last lines, right? Eccleston's last line: "You were fantastic. You know what? So was I."
Colin Baker's last lines: "Carrot juice, carrot juice, carrot juice."
Classic. David Tennant's last line: "I don't want to go." Very self-centered, very much like, me. Matt Smith's last line: "I will always remember when the Doctor was me." We're going to move on, but I'm not going to forget this stuff, because this stuff was brilliant. Fucking Capaldi's last line: "Doctor, I let you go." Literally, move on. I release you from me. You can move on. And Jodie's last line: "Tag, you're it. Move, next on. The only one that stands out, as much as I do love, I don't want to go, because it's heartbreaking, it's tragic, Tennant's so good, it does stand out as the one that doesn't feel like it's ushering in the next era.
And to go back to the classic series, one of the final lines for the first Doctor is, "It's far from being all over." Like that feels like a fourth wall break because it's about
which
the
we
show
just covered.
itself.
We just covered on the podcast.
Did, yeah. The second Doctor's last line was a bit less optimistic because he was in a forced regeneration. His last line was, "No, stop! You're making me giddy. No, you can't do this to me. No, 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 no," and so on. The third Doctor's last line was, "A tear, Sarah Jane Smith? No, don't cry. While there's life, there's..." I mean, he gets cut off because he starts regenerating. The fourth Doctor's last line was, "It's the end, but the moment has been prepared for."
Yes, that's a very famous one.
The fifth Doctor's last line was less optimistic because he was poisoned at the end. And he said, I might regenerate. I don't know. Feels different this time." The first line for the sixth Doctor kind of welcomes the change, though, because he says, "Change, my dear, but not a moment too soon," which is nice. That's basically all the last lines, which we all feel positive, apart from one that feels... the least positive ones feel like they've worked for the character, though.
For the story that's going on,
yeah.
It's a forced regeneration. Whereas David Tennant's one was a self-sacrifice, and he was like, "Fuck, I wish I didn't do that."
Yeah, but I'm very happy that, this feels like a reflection of the show. It's good to change. It's nice.
I really liked it. But Jodie regenerates in a fucking awesome shot.
Yeah,
oh my god, it's stunning. It's on the cliffside. She's, huge regeneration energy coming out from head and arms. Very electric-y. TARDIS behind her. It's like fucking wallpaper, poster worthy, fucking gorgeous. And then suddenly her clothes start to change.
Yeah.
She starts coming into a suit, and then boom, David Tennant.
Yeah.
First line, perfect first line. I know these teeth. Obviously David Tennant's first line when he turned into the Doctor is like, new teeth. That's weird. This one, famous. I know these teeth. Then he does the thing I fucking predicted he'd do. What? Fucking, it's obvious, but it's fan service. It's fun.
Yeah.
He looks great coming back as the Doctor.
Oh god.
I still have my reservations that I had before that I've talked about many times on the podcast. But I liked it. I feel like the clothes regenerating is what's saving me from hating this, because the clothes regenerating and the clothes changing makes me think there's something afoot. Someone is fucking with this regeneration and making the Doctor see things maybe that aren't real, or do things that they shouldn't be doing, or whatever the fuck. And overall, I was very happy. It fucking went insanely viral because believe it or not, most people aren't obsessive nerds like we are about Doctor Who and don't follow the news, don't read magazines, and don't listen to rumors. And a lot of social media blew up with, "Oh my god, David Tennant is back. I never saw this coming." Whereas we've been talking about it for a year.
Yeah, we were talking about it when the rumors started, didn't we?
Yep.
Like, it officially got announced in May, which feels like so long ago. Also, it's wild how fast this year has come. It's so crazy.
What did you think?
We got a Next Time trailer for the
We did.
Year.
I want to talk about the Next Time trailer, but what did you think about David Tennant first before we get to the Next Time trailer?
Talk about David Tennant. Yeah, it's great to see him back. He looks great in the role. I was very happy. Obviously, we knew it was coming.
Yeah.
I think there was like a 10% chance she would regenerate into Ncuti Gatwa.
Yeah, I went in expecting Tennant. I think a few months ago I had pretty much reserved myself as it's going to be Tennant.
Yeah.
It's I would love it to be Ncuti, but it's going to be Tennant. I saw it coming, but I enjoyed it.
I guess regenerating into Tennant works more because the episode is all about degenerating,
Yeah, it's honestly, when they were talking about reversing regenerations and going back, I'm like, okay, they're setting up Tennant at this point, aren't they?
Yeah, even though it wasn't planned. Fucking I almost called him Chris Chan. Chris Chibnall. Chris Chibnall had no idea who was going to take over the role before we did. Like, he only knew like 2 days before we found out, which is still crazy to think about. Like,
Insane.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's It's exciting. It's very exciting. And this whole episode as a whole is a nice little capture of what Doctor Who is. It's silly, it's campy, it's fun.
And it's got ties to a really old show you've never seen and know nothing about.
Yeah. This whole episode doesn't make any sense if you really want to think about it like we just did, but boy, it's fun.
It's so good.
Much fun.
It's so much fun. I've seen this episode twice in the span of less than 7 days, and I had such a fun time each time. I think in rewatches, this is one that I'm going to be looking forward to every time it comes up because it's so much fun.
The biggest missed opportunity, though, is with the BBC not putting this out in cinemas. Like, for 50th anniversary.
I would fucking kill to have seen this in cinema. The reactions from people would have been priceless. Like, oh my god.
Like, that fucking moment in the 50th anniversary, David Tennant first pops up. We all knew it was coming, but the gasps in the audience, and I was in... And also the gasps when Tom Baker showed up. Like, it was...
Yeah.
Gasps when Billy Piper showed up. Just... It would be so much more fun watching this with an audience.
Oh my god, it would be amazing to watch it in the cinema. You know, like fucking Paul McGann shows up. I'm the only one fucking cheering, but it would be incredible.
But yeah, the next time trailer, it's only 15 seconds long, so there's not much to talk about. But basically, we get an indication that Ncuti Gatwa is going to be in the 60th anniversary specials.
He is,
and he's just confused as we are.
He is, and he's wearing David Tennant's clothes.
Yeah.
I've been theorizing about this a lot in my flat with the flatmates, and we've been chatting. And one idea that came up that I thought was very interesting is throughout the episode, he's fluctuating between David Tennant and Ncuti Gatwa. David Tennant, Ncuti Gatwa. David Tennant, Ncuti Gatwa. He's like, what the fuck is going on? You know, like.
And maybe there's points where he doesn't remember what David Tennant just did, so he's like, "Where am I? What am I doing?"
Yeah.
Like, it adds so much tension and fun to the episode.
It would be very, very interesting. Or another idea, which is an idea that I've had for Doctor Who for quite some time, which is this incarnation ends up working with the future incarnation accidentally, not knowing that this is the future incarnation, you know, which is something they teased a bit in the David Tennant special, The Next Doctor, but that was like a fucking total cop-out, like, you know?
Oh god, like, they teased us like so many times in 2008. Firstly, when David Tennant regenerates into himself, we're like, holy shit, is he going to regenerate into the Next Doctor early? No. Oh, the next episode is called The Next Doctor?
Is he going to meet somebody that's going to play the Next Doctor? No, it's just some guy. Right, okay. Like...
But I am excited for a 60th anniversary, dude.
Ncuti Gatwa looks like $1 million fucking bucks as the Doctor. Yeah. My Christ. Like, he kept the mustache, which I am extremely happy. Like, he looks like James Bond level fucking incredible. Like...
Also, it's fucking shocking because I didn't even know he was filming scenes. I didn't know he had filmed scenes for us.
Watching that 15-second trailer, Ncuti Gatwa showed up again. I jumped out my seat. I went, whoa! Like...
it does make me think that he's not in it much, but he's going to be in it, which is good enough in my books.
I'm so excited. And he's doing all the press stuff for the announcing of Doctor Who coming to Disney Plus and explaining what it is to Americans and stuff like that. He's the one they're focusing on as the Doctor, not David Tennant. I really feel like David Tennant's for us Brits. Ncuti Gatwa's for everybody else. You know, like...
it's like you know, when sometimes we dub children's shows in different countries. It's like how we had Kevin on Blue's Clues and we had somebody called Joe or something.
Yeah. Very, very good, but just overall a fantastic end to Jodie's era. I don't think she could have gone out with a bigger bang. I think it's one of the best episodes she's ever had, honestly. And it's, you know, it's a mess. It's big, it's loud, it's dumb, but it's got cameos, it's got fan service. It delivers on everything you want. I had a fucking blast watching it, and it's so good. It's so much fun.
I am so glad Chris Chibnall didn't get caught up in, you know, covering his entire
lore
era,
shit.
being like, I'm going to explain what the Timeless Child is. I'm going to explain the Doctor's past. We don't need that. Keep that mystery. He went too far before, and I think he knows it. I think he knows it now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's a very smart man. We've talked about this on our news podcast when we've read interviews with him. Whenever he talks, it's like, fuck me, I want to like you. Like, just let me like you. You seem so interesting and so smart, but you make such bad decisions. But it seems like he seems to have really learned from the mistakes he's made before, and it pays off big time.
I think he's learned from mistakes that previous showrunners have made in a Final Doctor episode. You think back to David Tennant's final episode. I think he was overindulgent in wrapping up story arcs. And having that 20-minute scene of the
saying
Doctor
goodbye to everybody, and
if you go back to Matt Smith's final episode, I think it was overly done with tying up all the silence arcs and all that shit.
I still really like it, although even Matt Smith has come out recently and said, like, maybe we could have done that better, like, who knows, but
whereas this episode is a mess, but I like that it's about Doctor Who as a whole. It captures what Doctor Who is.
It's got it feels like such a love letter to Doctor Who. That's it, isn't it? It feels like I just love Doctor Who. Here's all the Doctor Who things. It's great.
And I knew I was going to be excited about the future of Doctor Who coming out of this, but I'm not excited about the future of Doctor Who because Chris Chibnall is leaving. I'm excited because of what Chris Chibnall did inside of the episode.
Yes.
And I came in with this episode thinking that maybe his era would have just go out for a whimper, but I'm glad it went out for a bang. I'm so happy.
It's the best way he could have ended it. I'm so glad that we can talk about it in a positive light, and we're not here like we were with Flux, where we're like, what the fuck happened? It's like this was everything we wanted it to be, and probably a bit more. It was superb,
And the future is looking bright. I think I'm more excited about Doctor Who than I have been in a long time.
I am unbelievably fucking excited about Doctor Who. I am honestly, to quote the second Doctor, I'm all giddy. I'm fucking on the moon with Doctor Who excitement at the moment. Like, it's unbunbelievable.
And you know what? We're going to have a great year next year on the podcast. We're going to have so much fun.
I can't wait. I cannot wait.
Because to reveal what we're doing next year, we're going through one Doctor at one at a time and going over one story, and it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. Some of the best stories throughout the entire show's run.
We're going to get them all, boys. Yeah, we're going to get them.
Apart from the 8th Doctor, which we can't really do much else on. That's the only problem is.
There's some audio dramas, but we'll figure something out. Yeah.
Disney, please do a big finish. Do a 8th Doctor
spin-off
series. Yeah.
Yeah.
Put it right up there on the fucking Disney Plus app, please.
It'd be awesome.
I need it.
But what have we got coming out next week, Scott?
Next week we are doing the news, which surprisingly enough we have news. We have
loads.
News.
Oh my god, so much.
I still need to edit this I still need to edit this news document. There's so much news. There's a logo change. There's Disney.
Oh my god, there's so much. We'll get into. There's going to be a big news episode next week for sure. Yeah.
I mean, after that, our celebration we're still celebrating Doctor Who with the 3 Doctors, the first ever multi-Doctor special.
Woo!
Which, we just saw the most recent multi-Doctor special. Technically, does this count as multi-Doctor special if we're not really playing the Doctor?
Yeah, I would say it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're excited. We're doing the 3 Doctors over the 2 weeks in November, which is very exciting. And then in December, we're doing a lot of Christmas-themed stuff. I'm excited. I'm very excited.
I'm very excited. And if you are interested in listening to that or what we've got coming up or listening to what we've done before, make sure that you subscribe to this podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. It's available everywhere. It's on audio. It's on video. It's fucking everywhere. There's a shit ton of links in the description. Use them. Share this podcast. It's brilliant. And even if you've got thoughts about this episode, if you've got thoughts about the next era of Doctor Who, if you've got thoughts about Classic Who, send us an email at whowatcheswhopod@gmail.com and we will read it out and answer it next week on our news podcast. That's whowatcheswhopod@gmail.com. There's a link, there's the email address in the description, whowatcheswhopod@gmail.com. Send us an email, we will we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear what your thoughts are. But until then, you can find us on Twitter at Watches Doctor, on Facebook at Who Watches Who, on YouTube at Who Watches Who. It's on every audio platform you can fucking imagine. You can follow me on Twitter at Cloth223. You can follow me on Twitch at something orange. We got so many fingers and so many pies. But until then, we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.